Well, in recent weeks I've unboxed a number of Fender Stratocasters, and this time it's the guitar that started it all off. But I'm having second thoughts about a particular model, and maybe you can help me decide. Hello viewer, my name's Stu. Please do check out the rest of my channel as it covers my return back to playing and recording guitar after a 40-year break. And as always, a big thank you to all who subscribe, comment and get in touch. I know it's boring to hear folks saying these things, but it actually helps the channel. So coming up, number 1, this guitar and its specifications. Number 2, what it sounds like. Number 3, points of interest. Number 4, my likes and dislikes. And yes, I'm thinking of selling this particular guitar, and you can find out why. Number 5, my conclusion and final remarks. So without further ado, number 1. The doorbell rang. And as I was really looking forward to the arrival of this particular guitar, because once again shops were pretty much sold out due to that global pandemic lockdown, this type of guitar is where it all started for me. So, on opening the box, we have a modern Fender branded ATA military grade ABS case, and on opening, inside, the guitar model that arguably started the whole electric guitar scene and the further innovations that would eventually follow. Now, the Fender Professional Series 1, it's a USA build, and this particular model was one of the last ones made in 2019, and as you can see, it's modelled on the style and look of the 1950s blonde Blackguard Telecaster. The body is ash, and it's finished in a tough gloss polyurethane in Butterscotch, and if you look closely, you can see the subtle wood grain underneath. It's got a nice weight to it. It's not too much, it's not too little. It sports the classic black single-ply pick-guard, and here you can see that traditional Telecaster bridge setup with its 3 compensated brass saddles, and that's making adjustments to intonation much easier. And the classic string-through body arrangement, and in this model, the grommets do protrude a little from the back body surface. The pickups are again like the Stratocaster Pro Tim Shaw, with a Telecaster V-Mod single coil pickup at the bridge and another at the neck. Now, just to be clear, the V-Mod pickups in the American Pro Series 1 Stratocaster have a different voicing from the Pro Series 1 Telecaster, so not to be confused that they are just simply the same pickups. And I am sorry, I don't have any output for these at the moment. Now, Fender states that the V-Mod Telecaster pickups are voiced specifically for each position, mixing Alnico magnet types to produce powerful, nuanced tones with original Fender sonic DNA. Now, the volume and tone controls are knurled with a flat top. The volume control has the treble bleed tone circuit, and the 3-way selector switch gives you the neck, middle and bridge choices. Moving to the maple neck, it's the usual 4-bolt arrangement, and it has a modern deep C, so it's a slim design and comfortable to the feel. And of course, much depends on the size of your hands as to what suits you best. Now, the neck has a satin urethane finish and a gloss urethane finish on the maple fingerboard, which has a 9.5 radius with 22 narrow tall frets and a scale length of 25.5. Now, the frets on this guitar, they are very nicely finished and really quite easy on the fingers. You can also see here the black dot inlays. I have to say these frets are better finished off than my Stratocaster Pro 1, which I reviewed a few weeks ago. The bone nut has a width of 1.68, and looking at the tuners, these are the Fender standard cast sealed type. And again, on the modern Fenders, there is easy access to adjust the truss rod if that's required. The case it comes in, as mentioned, is a lightweight ATA moulded military grade polyethylene case, and it's finished in black, as you can see, with chunky lockable catches. And just a note to say, these are very easy on the fingers, just in case you think they remind you of Tele protection cases, which are not so user friendly on the fingers. All of you who have owned those cases will know that. Inside it has a black high quality polyester plush interior with a space for knickknacks, but no actual lidded pocket. Now, I'm somewhat puzzled why they didn't keep the same design that they used for the Stratocaster case. That comes with a lidded pocket. However, at the end of the day, I really do like these type of cases for transporting guitars because they're lightweight and tough. So, number 2. How does it sound? Well, playing through this Blackstar with the controls set for a clean tone with a little reverb, here is the neck pickup position, position 1. Set for the middle in position 2. Set for the bridge, position 3. And now again playing through the Blackstar with the controls set for a moderate overdrive tone with reverb again, and I'll demonstrate the pickup reaction when I strum or pick the strings with restraint and then when played more forcibly. So neck pickup, position 1. Middle, position 2. Bridge, position 3. So with the Blackstar controls set for a moderate overdrive tone and reverb, I'll now add a spark booster pedal just as an added frame of reference, and you can see that review on that pedal in my channel playlist. Neck position 1. Middle, position 2. Bridge, position 3. So number 3, things I'd personally mention that might be of interest. What I will say is the Telecaster has a rich variety of tone, and dialing back on the volume or adjusting the tone control, and depending on how you set your amplifier, it's going to give you a wide range of tonal choices. And so I really do find myself messing with the controls on this guitar. It really does it gives some great tonal choices. The weight of this particular guitar anyway, it's very comfortable, and despite its hard edges, it's actually really nice to play whether you're standing or sitting. Frankly, it's amazing that this guitar was designed back around 1950 by someone who didn't play guitar, and I'm talking of course of Leo Fender. After all these years later, its popularity has never died. Number 4, likes and dislikes. What do I like? Well, this particular guitar is very nice to play. There's no doubt about that. As mentioned, very versatile, really so much tonal choices, and a great guitar to record with, particularly in a busy mix. This instrument, it just stands out, and I find it quite easy to place the guitar in a recording mix that's got a lot going on. And it stays in tune well. Now, compared to the Stratocaster, you can set the action pretty low if that's your kind of setup. Action is quite low on this guitar. It's a tough poly finish, fairly easy to look after, but certainly not impervious to getting scratched. I do like the very different tones, as I say, that you get with the three-way selector. All in all, it's a lovely guitar. But what do I dislike? Well, in regard to the case, I've mentioned the lack of a lidded pocket. I think that's an oversight, really quite puzzling why they did that, but that's just a small thing. The guitar, as I say, it's really nice, and I really enjoy playing it. Nothing wrong with this guitar at all. But for those who follow my videos, you'll know that I'm old school, if you will, an old school guitar player. Therefore, I've got many memories of the old days and the gear that a lot of us used. Now, the thing is, I started out on a Telecaster, early 1970s, and I'll mention a little bit more about that in my concluding remarks. Now, like my American Pro Strat, do see that review. Nice guitar, but for me, well, there was something missing. And there's something missing for me, I think, on this guitar as well. It wasn't long before I ended up getting a hold of both 1950s and early 1960s modern build Stratocaster custom shop guitars, and they connected with me instantly. Now, this is not a put down on any other guitar types. This is just something that as I've been coming back to playing guitar and I've been kind of fine-tuning the way I play and getting used to things again, I began to notice the difference. So the question is, do I need to do the same with the Telecaster? And seeing that while I love my 1950s Strat with its fat 50s pickups, but noting it may not be used in my recording sessions, whereas I tend to favour the warmer tones of the late 64 Stratocaster with its fat 60s. So should my sights be on a 1960s Telecaster compared to the 50s model to get that warmer, fuller tone? Would love to hear your thoughts on that. Do comment below. And I think one thing is for sure, I'm going to need to go and visit a guitar shop to find out. More on that to come. So 5, conclusion, final thoughts. As I returned to playing guitar after a 40-year break from playing semi-pro, Telecasters and Stratocasters that's where it all started for me. So my return to playing was going to entail buying those two types of guitars. And as I mentioned before, COVID lockdown was in process, so I had to order the 2 professional series guitars online, figuring that they should at least be a good place to start or restart my hobby. Now, I've mentioned before I was somewhat overwhelmed by the amount of guitar product when I did begin my search online. And so, well, I had to start somewhere. A Telecaster was the first electric guitar that I owned back in late 1973. It took me a year to save up £25. I don't know what that would have been in dollars back then, but working weekends in a restaurant, serving fish and chips, and I came to fall in love with a Japanese copy Telecaster, off-white, white pick-guard and rosewood neck. Do you remember the day you bought or were given your first electric guitar? And especially as a youngster, it's quite a feeling. And I think people still have that feeling even when you get older and you open that case and you see that guitar you've just ordered. There's something special about that. I'd love to hear your stories on that. Now, at that time, back in those early 70s, I could play cowboy chords, and I just loved my Telecaster guitar. But as I progressed in my playing and my guitar knowledge, that began to grow. I began to realise that the neck had a bad twist in it, which of course made playing further up the neck impossible. Intonation was impossible to achieve, and I would find that out as I was learning bar chords and scales. But my love for Telecasters never went away, and back then as a youngster I couldn't afford to have two guitars. I don't think many youngsters could, and so I eventually had to just really settle on one, and it was the Stratocaster that I did so for a fairly long period of my gigging days. So what to do? Do I sell this American Pro Telecaster and replace it with a custom shop model to get that traditional vibe, to get that connection that I have with my Stratocasters? Certainly that vibe that I do get from those custom shop guitars. Well, without doubt, the Fender custom shop built guitars, they're very nice indeed. They do have a feel and tone all their own, and once again, that is not a put down on any other models out there. It's just, I notice the difference, and I know many other guitar players do. They do have something about them. As mentioned, for my recording projects, I do use this Telecaster, so it's not a guitar that would sit on my rack only to get played once in a while. But what do you think? To help me finance a replacement, I'd likely sell this guitar and also my Fender Blues Junior lacquered tweed amplifier, sadly to say, but while it's a nice little combo, it's not for me. As always, no one paid me to mention any of the products shown, so all of these are just my opinions. I do hope that you've enjoyed this video and perhaps it's been helpful for some. And just a by the by, those two guitars I mentioned in my last video have come into the studio. So here's one of them. It's an Epiphone SG. And as you can see, it's not got any strings on it at the moment. So I've got a wee bit of work to do to that one just to check it all out. And I've got this Artisan guitar. It's an acoustic. And I'll be looking at those. So that's something to look out for. In the next video, we do some more unboxing. I wonder what that's going to be. Please do think about subscribing, hit the bell to get notifications, like and share, because as I said, it really does help the channel. Do check out my channel playlists, which cover my journey back to playing and recording guitar after a 40-year break. And I'm going to be looking at quite a number of writing songs and recording videos as well coming soon. So whether you're a newcomer, an ongoing player, or like me, an old hand returning to guitar playing, I always take time to engage with folks who take time to comment. So until next time, the journey continues. Do take care.